Good morning. It's Sunday. Sunday fun day. And today we're going to review the Logitech G13. Stick around. You'll enjoy it. Alright, so now I'm going to go over the quality of the piece and the ergonomics of it. So if you notice, it's got some nice curves, but kind of rest your hand there and you can reach all around. You got a little thumb joystick here, different stuff like that. So you got all these, then you can switch your switch which mode you're on within the game, and then these right here, and then the backlight there. So I mean, it's really, got all mechanical keys if I remember correctly, and oh, I just glitched out the one of the keys must be programmed to my recording software. But as far as quality, I've had several of these. I do wear out over time, but I'm talking 3 and 4 years for the buttons to actually fail. I think this is the button right here that's mostly failed on other games. I'm not sure why, but as far as quality and everything, it's definitely functional. Alright, so the gamepad itself, I'm going to show some video here because it'll actually show the screens and the lit up keys a little bit better. So the gamepad itself has 25 programmable keys, and if you notice at the very top, like most G series Logitech items, it has the screen that lights up as well, which is really nice because that screen can show in-game support as well as voiceover programs and all that stuff. See right there, it's pretty awesome. It'll even track what you're listening to as far as music, and you can shuffle through your music with controls from there as well. Alright, so the other nice thing I like about this is you have this joystick right here, and this is programmable, so you can put W, A, S, and D. So instead of keyboard turning with WASD up here, because you can program that too if you're just sold on WASD. I guess if you're sold on WASD movement, you might as well not get this, because this kind of solves that problem with any MMOs or any other game that kind of ties you into those buttons, which makes it harder to hit your attack buttons at the same time. So what this does for you is, if you're not using your mouse to move, which I use both, but if you're not using your mouse to move, you have your movement here, and you can rotate this around and slowly go in those other directions. So if I push to the corner, it's pushing A and W in that direction, and then to the top right is pushing W and D, and then S and D, S and A. So I can slowly rotate it around, so it's just the same as putting in those other commands that you would with these fingers. But it frees these fingers up to be able to run forward and mash the button you want to attack with, or to be able to backpedal and be able to mash the button you want to attack with, or turn, or whatever. I still use both the mouse and this, so I can get the angle as far as what I'm looking at with the mouse. And also, if I need to turn around real quick, keyboard turning is always too slow. So, but this frees your hand or your fingers up to actually mash your keys that you need to mash. So it works out really good. Also, if you notice it's got backlighting, and this is a red, blue, and green backlighting. So you have the different buttons up top to actually select different profiles. So say within the same game, I want these keys to be programmed one way, I could set the next tab to program them a different way, and then the last tab to program them another way. So it makes it nice to have those profiles within profiles. So it takes a 25 profile keyboard. So there's 25 keys here. It takes these keys and turns it into 75 programmable keys just with a flip of a switch. So if you have some key bindings or stuff like that you want, you can set the second one for like key bindings and like macros and stuff. The first one for just kind of your default stuff, and then third one for who knows what. Maybe there's vehicle combat in the game versus normal first person combat or third person combat. You can set the third one for a different control setup. so that you're constantly being able to switch between the different ones. Or say you play an MMO and you like the keyboard set up a certain way for warriors or for like DPS, a certain way for healing, and a certain way for tanking. You could make those profiles those separate ones, which is nice. And then the LCD screen, it actually shows you what it's selected, and you can change all the profiles. You can change the game you're using, what information the LCD screen shows you, all by pressing any of these buttons right here. So it's not something you have to tab out and use if you don't have two monitors. So it's a really, really well thought out, well made controller for everything from MMOs to first person shooters to whatever you might be playing. And it just works out good. All right, so here's the Logitech gaming software. This actually works with all the different Logitech gaming gear that's out there. So any of the G series stuff, and including like actually it includes my webcam and a few other things. So pretty much anything new that they've come out with, you're going to be covered, and you can scroll through the different profiles and stuff like that. So this is the home screen where you select the piece that you're going to use. The next part is where you program all the keys. So if you notice, this is my Terra profile. So Terra up there, and then it shows you how I have it all programmed. So I have F1 to F7, 1 to 7, F8 to F12, and 8, 9, 0. So that's how I program my in-game, most of my MMOs. And then for my directional keys, WASD, I put on the joystick right here. So it just makes sense for me to be able to move with this and always keep these fingers freed up to actually pound keys, and I'll go over more of that later. But this is how I set up my profile here. In Terra, you interact with your quests by pressing a button, so that's that button there. In other MMOs like WoW, WildStar, where you tab target, that's my tab target, and then down here usually ends up being my shift key. But in Terra, it's my escape key, so I can get my mouse cursor up. I've only got one profile that I use, but if I wanted to, I could have this one profile here, and then I could press this, and this would give me another 25 keys to program. And then I can press this one here, another 25 keys to program. And then the MR is basically a way to program keys on the fly without all tabbing out and stuff like that. So you have all those keys right there. And then up here, all my different profiles. Now, there's a lot of support for profiles. So as you see, it's scanning to see if it can find any more games. All these games that are checkmarked are pre-done profiles by somebody in the community or by them themselves. They approve them, they put them in. So there's a World of Warcraft profile, a Terra, Spore. There's FIFA, there's Active War, there's old games, there's new games. Pretty much every single Blizzard game is on here. Any popular MMO, any popular game gets a profile pretty much. Right here is where you can import and export files, and then right here is where you can actually print out a key mapping of the files. To add a new profile, you press there, you put the name of the game, and then you press here, you choose the application. That's what gives you the little thumbnail here, and then you hit OK, and then it'll make it so you have another profile up here to select. So you have here. Now you can select this without even opening this program. Oop. Oh no! It fell. There we go. So these buttons up here control the little LCD screen right there, and you can scroll up and scroll down, and that allows you to select different profiles. So even without being in the game, I hear a dog barking in the background. All right, and so as you can see, you can have a ton of different profiles. The next spot right here, this right here is to control what this does. Right now, this button right here switches from basically whatever is working right now. That switches to cooldown and stopwatch. Then this switches over to music, and then CPU usage and RAM usage. So if you want to keep track of that, you can also check your date and time here. So if you're somebody who goes on a 36-hour gaming binge, you can see where you're at. And then of course you can come back to where you select what game you're playing. Unfortunately, I can't get a good camera view on that to show you all of that, but trust me, it's there. And this is all the different things that can come up as well. And then the next part is your red, blue, green, which is pretty awesome because you can just kind of flip around, change the color of it. You can change the lightness of it, the darkness of it, all that stuff. So it's a really nice feature in the game. to basically freshen up what you're looking at. You got different preset colors as well that you can flip through. It's really cool. I enjoy it. It works out good. So you can sync up what game you're playing with a specific color if you wanted to, or what profile. So let me go back to the right spot here. So which profile you're in. So like say if you set the first one up for a healing character, you can make that green. So you set the next one up for a tanking character, you can make that, I don't know, you can make it blue. And then say that the last one's DPS, you can make red. So you can adjust it accordingly, which is pretty cool in my opinion. This right here is the onboard memory of the game. So if you have 5 games that you constantly play, and say you go to a gaming cafe or something like that, or gaming bar, and you want to bring that with you to use, you can download the profiles you want just by grabbing them and dropping them down here. And then there's not enough memory for that. So, but usually you can get at least 4 on there if you have them all fleshed out. You can remove them from here as well, just by right clicking and hitting delete. Hit yes, and that'll take it off there. BDO, I'm not playing anymore. HOTS, I'm not playing anymore. I'm playing Terra right now. So if you're like me and you're constantly switching between MMOs, you can always update this at any time. And then this last part is just basically kind of the keys per minute, so you can track, if you want to track how many keystrokes you're getting for in like an RTS where it actually matters. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. You hit record and then it'll start remembering what keys you hit the most, and so you can adjust those abilities on the key to make it quicker for your reaction time. So say if you're constantly hitting this button up here, the travel time for your finger to get up there might decrease in like an RTS, or where it's very, 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 very critical for you to hit it almost instantaneously. You might want to start taking that key and moving it down here, so it's showing you what keys you hit the most of. So yeah, this is the gaming software. It's really sleek. It works really, really well. I've never had it really fail or glitch out on me. You can share your profiles. You can change your settings in here as well. And then it's just got the G series for Logitech is really integratable. It's kind of definitely on par with Razer. Razer is a little bit flashier, but as far as the gamepad itself, I've tried both, and it comes down to this toggle right here. So I'm not going to really touch too much on the Razer, but this is so much easier to use than the Razer one. The Razer does feel a little bit more comfortable because the ergonomics are a little bit better, but it comes down to this toggle right here. I can't use the Razer as a regular thumbpad joystick like you would on a game controller. So this gives you the hybrid of both worlds, so you're able to use the joystick and pound your keys almost instantaneously. Alright, so now I'm going to show you some in-game gameplay here with Terra. Alright, so without using my mouse, I can just move around like this. And when I add my mouse to it, I can change the direction, which is nice. So I run up to this guy and talk to him. I just press this button. Then to bring up my map, I push down on the toggle. It's pretty nice. And then of course I've got key mapped to there, my jump or my retreat abilities. And then of course you have your left mouse, and then just different buttons like that. So it makes it easy for me to actually target, and then without having to take my hands off the directional, fire off an ability. So normally what you would do is you'd be pressing WASD, and then you'd have to like do this if you wanted to run forward and press another button, or you kind of have to manipulate your hand in a weird way. This keeps it so I'm really not manipulating my hand in any way. And then this button is really nice and light, so it's not something you have to push really hard, and it's nice and smooth. And then I keep my jump key off here so that I can press it with my thumb on the side of my mouse. So that's where I've always programmed my jump. That way I'm not trying to move, stop, press spacebar, or move, and I can keep my 4 fingers ready to hit any key at all. So it cuts down your reaction time. This is great for first-person shooters because then you've got your directional. And again, you don't have to manipulate your hand in any odd way to press anything. It makes it easy. So even the bottom keys are easy. And then you have 4 rows of keys. So it's a nice little setup. And then in most games, I'll show you here, most games you can map the keys. So here's the shortcuts. So if I wanted to, so right here I did F1, F2, F3, but I stopped it at F6, I think. Why did I stop it at F6? Let's see. No, it should be go all the way to F7. No, it does have F7. Why is it not showing? Here we go. All right, so F1 through F6, and then, oh yeah, F7's right there. So, and then I have, it's just bugging out, I think. And then this row right here is 1 through 7. And then because there's 4 rows of keys, I brought these other ones out here. And then there's F5, or F8, F9, F10, F11, F12. So that's all these keys right here. And then the last 3 keys are right here. So it's kind of like an upside down pyramid. Kind of makes it nice and easy. So again, it's all about never having to take your hands off the keypad to be able to move, or shuffle your hands to be able to move. You always have your abilities right where you want them. And it makes it nice and easy. You'll see it increase as soon as you get used to it. You'll see your gameplay, your reaction time, all that stuff increase greatly. All right, and that's going to be all for this review. Hopefully it helped you out. If it's something that you like, the link is down below so you can actually support the channel when you buy the product. It's not that expensive. It's on sale all the time. I have 3 of them in my house that I use. I've almost gotten to the point where I can't play most games on a regular keyboard without really concentrating, because it's so intuitive and so easy to use the joystick and then pound the keys up here. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know if you think Razer is the master of gaming peripherals, or if you're cool with Logitech. Hope you guys have a great day, and see you in game. All the fishes, all the fishes, they're getting so big.